Good evening, folks. Welcome to the stream. How's everybody doing out there? So, it's been a couple of days, but chipping away at Rockstar 2.0, and on Sunday, I think, whenever I was last on and streaming, uh, all kinds of interesting stuff happened. I went down a rabbit hole inside a rabbit hole inside a weasel hole inside another rabbit hole, and learned all sorts of fascinating things about stuff you can do in .NET that I had no idea you could do, like overriding true and overriding false. And sort of got to the point right at the end of the stream where what I realized is that there's a decision I haven't made because I haven't. I didn't realize I was going to have to make it. And the decision in question is that the Rockstar language, or this Rockstar interpreter that I'm creating here, so we got something like a number. And if I have a number in my code, I haven't decided whether that number is going to be a .NET number or it's going to be a Rockstar number. We have a number expression. So there are things in the Rockstar parser. Hey, extra onions. Tomorrow's a bank holiday. Yeah. It's actually one of the weirdest bank holidays, on a little tangent, is one of those strange things. In the UK, bank holidays are always on a Monday, with the exception of Good Friday and sometimes at Christmas. But a long weekend here, you always have Monday off. But we get, I think, 8 public holidays a year. Whereas I know a lot of places in Europe, they have more holidays, but they're on the same calendar day every year. So if they fall on a weekend, you lose it. And so a lot of folks there, they're going to take Friday off as well, so they get a 4-day weekend out of that. Because in Sweden, I think they call it the bridge day. Like, if a public holiday falls on a Tuesday or a Thursday, everyone just takes the Monday or the Friday off, so they get a 4-day weekend out of it. Could you increase the sizes of the terminal and editor? Small on the TV screen. How's that? I mean, what I could do is I could take my glasses off, and then if I can read it, you can probably read it as well. So, yeah, cool. I'm on your TV screen. Hello, I'm television. What a time to be alive, hey? So, yeah, the sort of crunch point we got, I went down this hilarious little, entertaining rabbit hole of digging into all the things, and I got to this point in the interpreter where the interpreter has this eval thing, and we're like, okay, well, what do we do if the eval returns a and we drop into, and this is where I started figuring all this stuff out. And so binary.resolve, this is where we were looking. And I kind of suddenly had this moment of revelation of like, well, I don't know. I mean, I could read some news if you like. I could do a little panel show, current affairs. I could get a guitar. I'd give you some music, any kind of entertainment. But yeah, so we basically got to the point where I'm like, oh, well, what am I actually doing here? Because I've got this evaluate thing, and I need to decide whether evaluate. So Rockstar has a number, right? There is a number type in Rockstar, but at the moment I don't have any types. At the moment, Rockstar just has expressions. So we've got a look at the different kind of expressions that we got baked in here. There's a binary expression, which is this thing and that thing with an operator in the middle, and there's a false as a literal, and there's a lookup expression, and there's null, and there's number. But like number here, if you have like 4 plus 3, that's a binary expression. But when this thing goes into resolve, and I resolve plus, this calls into plus here, and I need to decide if I evaluate a number, do I get back the Rockstar number, or do I get back the .NET decimal type, which is baked into it? And one of these gives me like one of them will decouple Rockstar further from .NET. It'll mean that the design of the type system here, the expressions, the statements, the interpreter, the parser, that will not be tightly coupled to the underlying sort of .NET system. A number obviously will be a wrapper for numeric because I'm not going to re-implement stuff like adding numbers together. So a number will have a digit inside it. But I think that's potentially one. Now the other nice thing about implementing my own number type is many years ago when I first wrote the Rockstar joke spec that turned into a real programming language, one of the things I said in that spec was that Rockstar would support DEX64 integers. And DEX64, or DEX64 decimals. And DEX64 is really interesting because DEX64 is a Douglas Crockford, the guy who created, or the guy who figured out that you could get JSON out of JavaScript. He came up with this proposal for a 64-bit decimal type. And I just thought it... yeah, and I thought it would be fun. I wonder if there's a DEX64 implementation for .NET. .NET with a T. Yeah, hello Stony, how you doing? Hello Adamant LC. DEX64, let's see if there's a C# implementation of it. It would appear not. But okay, so what this lets me do is I can do an implementation now which is based around the .NET types. Now, the advantage of using IEEE decimals, as in a decimal, hey Stig Stackfold, is I get hardware optimizations. There's a bunch of discussion about DEX. Okay, this is interesting. This is DEX64 on the .NET runtime, and there's a bunch of people saying no, 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 no. All right, we're gonna use IEEE 754 decimals. 754 decimal in .NET. I'm pretty sure a .NET decimal type. Decimal in C# is kind of arbitrary precision. It does have a limit. Var D1, let me whack that up a little bit, so there we go. D1 equals 0.000000000000001M, and we'll say var D2 equals D1 plus D1, console.writeline D2. So that kind of works. We will, I think, eventually get to a point where it doesn't work anymore. But not today. There we go. Boom, I blew it up. Floating point outside the range of type decimal. So yeah, we can get a pretty big number. But at that point, you see you lose the precision off the other end because there's a certain amount of there. So you see here, as I'm knocking ones out of it, we are getting back the precision we've lost on the decimal and floating point numbers, or decimal numbers in computers, they have a precision and a scale, which is really, really confusing because one of them is how big the number is, and the other one is how many of those bits appear after the decimal point. And let's see if we get to a point where we get our 2 back. No. All right, so that. There. That point there. So, but to all intents and purposes, decimal is good enough for anything numeric that you're ever going to do in Rockstar. So, the question is, does Rockstar actually, is it going to have its own types? And that boils down to whether eval here is going to return the Rockstar-y type, or it's going to return thing. And I think it's going to... I'm going to build a type system because that sounds like a fun thing to do late on a Wednesday evening. So let's jump in over here. And I'm going to make a new folder for this. Come on, there we go. Right click, add, new folder, types. And let's add a class. Now, do I need a number expression as well as a number type? I think at this point I can get away with number just being a type, which is going to mean moving some things around. But there we go. Internal class number. So a number is going to take a decimal value, and that's it. That's what we got. Actually, let's see. I can probably just move a bunch of things out of here. So string is going to become a type. Number is going to become a type. Yes, replace that. True, null, mysterious, and false are going to become types, because these are all things. So that should be, yeah, Rockstar.types. True, false, mysterious, null, string, and now all of these, I probably want here a Rockstar base type. So public abstract class type inherits from expression. And that means that this thing has to have a fall through implement. Interesting. So yeah, the underlying implementation, I like that. So do I derive type from expression and give it a parameterless constructor? Because like if you find the number 5 in your source code, that came from a lexeme. It has a line, it has a column, it has a, it was a parser generated thing. If you return the number 5 from adding 4 plus 1, that didn't come from anywhere. So those Maske says, I want to admit recently I made a Rust coin that made a Zig one that ended in a Rockstar one. So something I want to do something I'm going to put in Rockstar 2 is, so I want to make coins really easy. And one thing I thought about doing is just having the keyword Q that causes the language to print Q. So the letter Q on its own is a Rockstar coin, which is 1 character, which means it's one of the shortest. It kind of takes the fun out of it, but also it's like, yeah, you want coins, you got coins, we can do that. But the other thing that would be kind of fun would be if the keyword Quine appears anywhere in a Rockstar program, it just prints the entire source code listing to standard out, which would make it trivial to embed Rockstar in things like the Ouroboros Quine, because any program with the word Quine in it, you can run through Rockstar and get the original back out the other side. So, which is kind of tricky, because, yeah, you'd need a very, very special case in the parser that literally anything, any token that matched Quine would need to return a Quine containing the entire... Yeah, we could do that. We could absolutely do that. And yeah, then like any... It doesn't even matter if it's a Rockstar program or not. Any program with the word Quine in it, Rockstar will print its own source code. Yes! I like that. Ah, this is fun. I need to put that on the Rockstar issue backlog list. GitHub.com/rockstarlang. There we go. And Rockstar and issues and new issue. Hang on, do I have anything in here with Quines on it already? Let's have a look. Let's search for Quine. Yep. So new issue. It's not a mistake. There are no mistakes. There are just amazing ideas. Sweet, right. So we are going to build a type system, and we are going to, yeah. Does type inherit from expression? Yes or no? And if it doesn't, do we end up with multiples? All right, let's work this thing through. So, oh, that is a different project. Actually, let's typora this. Actually, no, let's use my new amazing thing. Let's use Obsidian. So I have used, for a long while, I've used a thing called Evernote. And Evernote is like basically synchronized text files in the cloud. And composition over inheritance. Types and expressions should be able to mix and match. So the thinking here is, let me just open a open a folder as a vault, D projects. So Obsidian is basically, it's a cloud synchronized markdown editor that it's just wonderful and it's brilliant, and I discovered it yesterday and I'm completely in love with it. It's an excellent tool. GitHub Rockstar Lang, and let's open that, and this should give me a, there we go, there's my Rockstar Lang workspace. Yeah, Cloud Sync is $4 a month and everything else is free. And I mean, the other thing you can do with it is you can just get it to put all your Markdown files in Dropbox or OneDrive or iCloud or whatever you use to sync stuff normally. Rockstar 2, yeah, bar as a joke. All right. So, you use Git. You can use Obsidian. So the main reason why my killer use case for this is when I have a good idea on an airplane, I crack out a little Bluetooth keyboard and I sit and I write it up into something, and then I don't need to remember where I left it. Just when I land and switch off airplane mode, it syncs back to the cloud, and then when I open my laptop, it goes, oh yeah, you wrote a thing. So let's, okay, types versus expressions. So what we're looking for here is, should that have been heading 2'd for me? How do I make that format? Paragraph heading 2. Yeah, I did that. Am I in source code mode? View. What? Yeah? So that's showing up right. Try Control P source mode or some such. Weird. Yeah, okay, so that's working. So I can cut that, and I can cut that. Ah. All right. There will be a brief, yeah, there's an unclosed code block halfway down. Can you preview the Markdown in other flavors like GitHub or Jira, for example, also with Obsidian? I don't know. I suspect maybe because it's got a whole plugin ecosystem. So this is... possibly because it looks like the... editor that it's using cannot cope with code blocks inside comments. Yeah, it's this chunk here. I think. There. All right, so yeah, it's if you have a code block. Hello, Viper Gamings. We're building a interpreter for Rockstar, the esoteric programming language based on heavy metal song lyrics. You can find out all about it over here, codewithrockstar.com. And yes, I am wearing a codewithrockstar.com t-shirt. I have tried Notion. I did not like it at all. It's just no. No, too much weird. I struggle to articulate why. I spent about 10 minutes playing with it and was like, it's grubby and I don't like it. Right, did we get that working? So what were we doing? We're doing types versus expressions. So option 1, what programming language are you working on? Rockstar in C#. So I'm using... So at the moment, I'm writing Markdown documentation. I am using C# and .NET to build an interpreter for the Rockstar esoteric programming language. So option 1, number inherits from type, which inherits from expression. So pros, no repetition. Parser captures literals as actual types. Um, so what do we got? We got no repetition, parser captures literals as actual types. When do you think you'll become full Metro, be able to write the Rockstar interpreter in Rockstar? That's an interesting question that has come up several times. The ability to do file system I/O. So one of the things Rockstar has never had is it's never had file systems and it's never had modules. And the reason for that is I always wanted it to be something you could run in a web page. And something like, as soon as you have the way of reading from another file, you're like, well, what does that mean when you're in a web browser? Where does the other file come from? Is it like a local storage API? Are we going to implement some kind of file system? What does it do on mobile devices? And also, I don't trust humans. Like, if we put networking and file system I/O in Rockstar, somebody is going to use it to do something real. And then they're going to quit their job. And some poor junior developer is going to get hired. And they're going to be like, oh, yeah, Brian wrote this amazing, like, tax compliance validation system in Rockstar. And then Brian quit, and now you've got to maintain it. I don't want to risk it because, the Notion people. I rage quit Evernote. Like Evernote, I opened it up yesterday, and it said, "Hey, do you want to upgrade to?" First of all, the desktop said, "Do you want to upgrade to professional for per week?" And I was like, there should be a number in that. And then I went on the webpage and it said 48 cents per week. And I'm like, well, that's bullshit because you don't pay weekly, you pay annually. And I hate it when places like, it's only 1 cent per day. And I'm like, no, that's like loads and loads of money. And then I tried to sign into their website to see exactly what my 48 cents a week would get me. And I couldn't get in because every time I signed in, it said, hey, there's this special offer. And when I said no, it said, you won't be able to get this back. You have to accept it now or we're never going to give you the offer again. And I basically went on Twitter and complained about how awful I thought this was. And somebody popped up and went, hey, have you tried Obsidian? And that was it. Evernote lost a paying customer by trying to get me to go pro. Because I hate that psychological marketing mind game bullshit. Like, shut up. Just, you're supposed to be text files in the cloud. I don't want an AI editor. I don't want professional mode. I don't want any of the stuff that you keep coming up with because your company has to grow like some kind of horrible tumor. Just sit down, shut up, and do text files in the cloud. And they couldn't do that. And they couldn't even shut up about the fact that they couldn't do that. And so Evernote is gone now, and they will not get any of my money ever again. And Obsidian, if you're listening, stay in your lane. Text files in the cloud. We clear? So what do we got? Parser captures literals as actual types. There's only one, so no repetition. There is only one thing called number in the language. Parser captures literals as types. Cons, downsides of this approach are, so downsides here are like the results of evaluations will have empty line, column, lexeme things. Which is potentially misleading. Like, is this bad? I mean, the other thing I could do is decisions. So many decisions. It's just occurred to me that maybe I could have a parser context. So instead of the expressions themselves having a line, a column, and a lexeme, an expression can optionally have a parse context, and the parse context tells you where you found it, and then a parse context is null. Kind of type have a lexeme attribute or reference. So the lexeme attribute is if you have a literal that came out of your source code, then we want to know where it actually came from. And so the lexeme will give you the chunk of your Rockstar program that yielded that part of your thing. If we go into, say, program.rock, so yeah, I mean, I've got that already. So So result. What if we replace this with a or a source? I mean, just source would do. Property that tells us where it came from. If source is null, it didn't come from source code. So that's fine. Okay, so that's option one, is we have numbers versus expressions there. Let's drop that in. Okay, so but then option two is number type and number expression. So pros of this, it makes more sense for that to be an expression. So if it inherits from expression, it should just have that. Option two, number type and a number expression. Pros here are type doesn't have any unnecessary metadata. So the type is just a type, and eval returns a type. So it depends on the definition of type and expression. So an expression is the category of things which can be interpreted to yield a value. A type is, have I kept the diacritic symbols for things in code? You betcha. They are still there. Whether they will still be here for a while, we don't know, but for the time being, they are still here. So type doesn't contain any unnecessary data. Eval returns a type, not an expression. So this means that when we evaluate something, it always ends up as a, so evaling will always result in a number, string, Boolean, this gives us a certain amount of simplicity, although we could still do that even if type inherits from expression. So objects are actually not that... The most difficult thing about doing objects in Rockstar is the syntax. Trying to come up with a way of doing like string.join. Are you sure that type is the right word for this? I mean, it is a value of some type. So the other things that it could potentially be are symbols and functions. Which, yeah, you're right. The language gets very, very kind of self-referential at this point. But you're right, they are values. They are things which have a value. And potentially also, you know, at some point there could be a reference in here. Could come out. Yeah. Yeah, value, I think value is probably a better approach for it. So, right, what I'm going to do is first I'm going to just check that I've pushed everything I've got to Git, because this might turn out to be a really bad idea. And then we are going to, and I'm actually going to reset everything back to where we were. What did I do to that? Yeah, that's fine. All right. That's the wrong repository. Discard all changes. Yes, reset all. Right, let's pop a branch on this. Values and expressions. Okay. But you see, the thing about comedy is it has to be done really, really well. It's like the Naked Gun movies would not have worked if Leslie Nielsen was not a fantastic actor. It has to, the comedy is in taking the joke way too seriously. That's what makes it funny for me. Don't save changes to that. Don't save changes to that. Close all the things. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to create values. And then we're going to try this. So I'm going to add a new folder in here. No. Add new folder. Values. All right. And now I'm going to take a couple of expressions. So number is going to become a value. Expression, no, false is a value, null is a value, string is a value, true is a value, mysterious is a value. These are things that okay, so what I'm going to do here is we're going to plug in a new thing. So public abstract type, public abstract class value extends expression. So all values are expressions, but not all expressions are values, because some expressions are different. All right, so let's implement that. Now I'm just going to change up this whole thing here. I'm going to create a new thing called a parsing context. So we got the interpreter there. We've got somewhere I can throw something in here. All right. Public class source. So this is going to have a string file get set. Actually, we don't need to worry about that yet. But source is going to have an int line, int column, string lexeme equals default. So this thing is indicates or you know what? Sod documentation. It's not that kind of operation. Yep, string lexeme equals default. Change that to be nullable. All right. This is Visual Studio. This is VS 2022. Good old-fashioned, newfangled, latest update Microsoft Visual Studio. Yeah. We should be getting a new one of these any day now, shouldn't we? Well, at some point. 2022 is like a couple of years ago. Okay, so source is going to take this, and that's... now what I want to do is we're going to find so let's find expression. And I wonder if there's a way I can refactor this, which isn't going to be incredibly tedious. Change signature. So let's change signature on that. This is going to become, type is going to be source. This is going to be source. That is going to get removed. That is going to get removed. Next. Oh, the IDE I used for the docs is Obsidian, which we were just chatting about. Obsidian.md. It is very, very good and excellent and wonderful, and yeah, very, very happy with it. So it's basically a markdown editor with cloud sync and plugins and all kinds of cool stuff. I only found out about it yesterday after I rage quit Evernote because I didn't like their marketing. All right, so that source takes that, and then location is gonna take a that's just gonna do source.toString, I think. Yeah, so that'll do. Change type of property location to string. Wait a sec. Why does it think source could be null here? Source is not nullable. So when you do calculations, the .md is Moldova. So I have my company is called Ursatile, and I have my own URL shortener because I was like, can I get that? And I found out that Timor and Leste has urs.tl, so I've got that. I own that. That's one of my few sort of business assets, and it's cool and it works. And I can send people urs.tl domain names, and yeah, I have Timor and Leste, which is kind of fun. So anyway, where were we? We were here. Source here should not be nullable. Possible null reference return because toString is toString in .NET has to be able to return null. Source.location. Let's just do that. All right, and then we can create that property, and then public string location. Okay, I'm kind of liking where this is going. So that is going to return public string location goes to lexeme equals default line column lexeme. Okay. Portuguese language tangentially mentioned. So one of the pieces of actual proper work I'm doing at the moment is I'm having to integrate with a Portuguese accounting system that has all its documentation in Portuguese, a language I do not read, speak, or understand. So, which is fun. But all of their database column names are in English. It's just the thing telling you what it means is in Portuguese. Yeah. It's all right. I've already done one in Danish and one in Norwegian. I'm getting quite good at integrating with account systems in languages I can't understand. The calculations. Yeah, so basically once we get down to the point where we've resolved the thing on the left to a number, the thing on the right to a number, and we know the thing in the middle is multiplication, at that point we'll tell .NET to pull the decimal out of that one, pull the decimal out of that one, multiply them together, wrap the result up in a number, and give that back. But that can then all be abstracted. That can potentially all be maybe even implemented on the types themselves. Yeah. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. It'll be fun. It'll be nice. And I actually think I'm gonna make lexeme as here is not nullable. I'm gonna default lexeme to the empty string. So you know something that really bothers me about .NET is you can use quote as a compile time constant, but you can't put string.empty in here, because it's like, oh no, string.empty might be different next time you build your program. So at this point, I'm going to say that is going to be equal to line column. So lexeme.length is going to be 0, which means I can always include that. So this thing is going to return line column and can always, actually that can come out, line column. And then here I can put a dum lexeme right. Well, it's not that it might be different. There's no reason it'll ever be different, but it doesn't have the type hinting that so number type should have plus, times, minus, right. The default for strings is not the empty string. The default for strings is null, because strings in .NET are a weird, hey Eugene, setting up WSL, have fun. WSL is awesome. What am I doing here? Line, column, lexeme length minus lexeme, actually, you know what? Let's just do that. This is one of those might be a good idea at the time. Oh, it seemed like a good idea at the time things. Okay, so now we've got a source, we've got a location. So anywhere now that I have got that triplet there, let me take a look at what that's done to all of the other expression types in my program. So expression now takes a source which cannot be null. So let's look at all the things which derive from expression. So there's expression, yeah, that's not gonna work. Okay, so yeah. I gotta fix a bunch of broken stuff in the inheritance, but that's all right. We can sort that out. So let's just do a global search and replace anywhere I've got that syntax of constructors. We can replace that with source. Global replace all across all the source code in my project. What do you think? Yeah? YOLO, let's do it. Boom. That's what revision control is for. Turns out to be a mistake, we can always get it back. Boom. Move that down so it fits on a screen. That should have, oh, hang on. I need to do a same with that. Replace all the things. There we go. Expression source. Yeah, close that. Yep. There's binary. Variable is good. So now we go to values. Okay, so public abstract class value expression. That's gonna take one of those, but also now a global regex replace. As long as you kind of look at what you did before you deploy it to production, I don't see the problem. So that takes a source and returns a one of those. False takes that and inherits from that, but also inherits from value. And we were going down a fun little rabbit hole with I am truthy the other day. I think I'm going to back all that stuff. Actually, no, at this point, any value is truthy, right? That just becomes part of the way the whole thing works. So public abstract class value, that inherits from expression. And then false inherits from value. That's cool. That comes out. Any value now has to have a truthiness. All right, so there's that. So let me move that into its own type. Move to value.cs. All right. Okay, so yeah, this is looking good. I like where this is going. This feels like we're on a good track. So expression source, I am truthy comes out. I don't need I am truthy anymore. So I am truthy was there so I could distinguish between expressions which had a truthiness and expressions but didn't. But now that I've got values, all values will be truthy. And so I don't need the interface anymore. I can actually do it by saying that it's a property of anything that has a value can also be evaluated in a Boolean context, which is cleaner to me. That inherits from value. So public class string value string. Yeah, that works. Number decimal value, that inherits from value source. I am truthy, import Rockstar, yes. that comes... hang on, that's wrong. That comes out. That goes in, so that's in Rockstar.values. And IamTruthy can go. And that becomes override. Bool truthy, and there's that. So null inherits from source, it's a value, and IamTruthy is there, which means that's override. And let's get, where is IamTruthy? That can probably go. Yeah, this was the rabbit hole we went down the other day with trying to implement all of the overloading and that kind of stuff. That was fun. Pointless. I mean, it yielded no... Hello, Jay. Writing a plugin system for your VM agents. That sounds like sensible work. I'm writing an interpreter for a comedy programming language I invented in a bar. But, you know, that's good. That's good. Okay, so private mysterious. Now, this is where stuff's going to get interesting, because I'm probably going to need... I'd tell you what we can do. We can do this. Is Rockstar 2 going to help us with code golf? Well, I have very, very mixed feelings on the subject of So a lot of the folks on the Code Golf website who were using Rockstar actually exploited the fact that the Rockstar interpreter used on Code Golf will evaluate Java code, which to me is just like, yeah. Rockstar is a horrible language for golfing in. Just that's public override bool. Now, I did think about just putting in the most unbelievably terse alias for every single thing in the language to allow you to, you know, like initialize arbitrary variables by putting in the Unicode code point. Code Golf is how do you solve problems using the smallest number of characters in a particular language. And there's the Code Golf Stack Exchange. There is also, why does this only, every single thing on Kagi's site here, code.golf, there it is. And there is a Rockstar on here somewhere. Where's the thing about ideas, recent rankings? There. And yeah, so this is the whole, like, how do you print that ASCII sequence using a certain language? And so you can see on here, like, somebody in assembly has done it in 66 bytes. Somebody in Coconut has done it in 100 bytes. Rockstar 194. The one thing about the big difference between code.golf and the Code Golf Stack Exchange is you can't see anyone else's solutions on code.golf. So, yeah. Right, back to work. So, public mysterious. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to create a... you can make value generic with a constructor to hold the wrapper value and make truthy the value. I could, but I don't want to yet. No, I messed that up. This still needs to be in line equals in column string lexeme equals that. Okay, so we got that. That's that. That's that. That's that. All right. Now, this is now not going to compile. It's going to blow up all over the place. which you'd be able to see if my compiler output was on the right screen, which is there. And I'm now going to take my ncrunch tests and put them back over here, because as useful as they are not the most effective use of the limited screen real estate available on the stream. Okay, cool. There is no thing available on that. Now, can I have a public const source none? I don't think I can do this, because I don't think this can be... Constant initializer is missing. And yeah, that's not going to work, because you can't have classes which are constant. Can you have structs which are constant? Mysterious isn't a value yet, because I need to figure out where... So mysterious uses a singleton instance, because all mysterious is the same mysterious. There is only but one mysterious, and I can't construct an instance without telling it where it came from. Because the whole point about mysterious is that it's what you get if you evaluate something that isn't, like you ask the value of an uninitialized variable. It's also going to get removed because it was a stupid idea and I don't like it. That must be constant. That can't be constant. Can structs be constant? So there's no such thing as a literal mysterious. You can't put... It's like in JavaScript, you cannot make undefined, because the only way to get undefined is to ask for something that's not there. The reason, Jay, I'm trying to make it static as opposed to const read only is if it's genuinely... So make it const as opposed to static read only, is if it's a compile time constant, I can put it in here, and I can do that. And then whenever ooh, no. I maybe don't need to do that. I'd need to do that. Have you been shadow banned for the code golf link? No? We see ya. No, so mysterious. Mysterious is basically undefined. If you're familiar with JavaScript, you go into a JavaScript browser window, console window, and I can say, like, go in here and bring up a console and whack that up. There. According to the official Rockstar docs, mysterious has a keyword mysterious. I would not put too much strength in the use of the word official regarding the Rockstar docs, because that's the bit that got written in a bar. Can we expect a consistent stream this December? Yes, I hope so. Last year, I spent most of December in Australia with the worst flu I have ever had. It was rough. But this year, I am planning not to leave the house. I'm going to do Advent of Code every day, and I want to do Advent of Code in Rockstar, which is one of the reasons I'm making Rockstar 2.0. Okay, so new expression can be simplified. Yeah, we can strip that down. That can be a public static read-only source none equals that. Well, okay, cool. So we can put that in there. I mean, don't say you can't wait till December. Like, the whole best part of the year happens between now and then. The waiting process is going to be delightful. We have summer, we have August, we have all the big conferences happening in first the next couple of months. So I know Obsidian has a graph view. I haven't figured out yet what it's for or what I might want to do with it. Right, where did we get to? We got to none of this stuff is working. So that's there. Using Rockstar values, so we're going to plug that in. And now I am going to extend the, so I want to do something here with the Pegasus grammar, which means I need to figure out what it is. So that's public static class Pegasus parser extensions, public static source this state, was it called? It's parser state or what is it? Yes. And optionally a lexeme. Which means now in here, I can do that. So let me do a Control H, find that, replace that with state.source everywhere that it appears. And, no, hang on. All right, state.source. I don't want to capture lexemes for operators yet, I don't think. Yeah, that's fine. So now if I plug in, no, that's cool. Right, let's see if that builds. No. Okay, this is where it's going to get interesting. There is no argument given that requires an output.output because I haven't fixed yet the statements. So statements assignment is going to take a source, and this is going to inherit from statement source. Rockstar.peg is a parsing expression grammar file. It is this project here. And parsing expression grammars are wonderful and very powerful and saving a great deal of time. There is about 50% of a handwritten recursive descent parser in one of the other projects here. But I got bored of just adding support for one thing after another, and there didn't seem to be a whole parameter depth in base method has. Does that want me to do? Yeah, fine. All right. Program is fine. List of statements. Statement source. That now becomes source.location. I like this. Anything where you do the same job with fewer lines of code always strikes me as a worthwhile. Okay, so this whole lot is gonna get ripped out now. Because this is where we get to the interesting bit. Doom and Rockstar. That would be a sight, something to behold. Right, let's get rid of all the I am truthies. Actually, I need to fix... So this is the whole thing now, is that this eval expression is no longer going to return that. This is going to return value. It's always going to return value. And so this true is going to return... X. Yeah, that works. Okay, yes, this is nice. This is nice. So now we've got, so env.getVariable doesn't return that anymore. That will have to return a value. It'll have to return a Rockstar value. So getVariable always returns a value. And a value here can be a function. A function is a value. That'll work. So binary.resolve now, that is going to take a... that is going to return value. Import Rockstar.values. Yes. You can, can't you? Yes. Thank you, Cinciat. My girlfriend said earlier, why do you use Twitch when you're doing this? And I said, because people help and they suggest things that are really useful. And she said, really? I was like, yeah. She's like, okay. And there you go. That's it. Proves it. So now we've got into the fun part of let's do that. So public value negate on a number is going to give back a new number containing minus value. There. And that source. So yeah, okay. So this is the fun part now. Is when we create values as a result of an operation, source doesn't mean anything anymore. So this is the bit where I kind of want to create a overloaded constructor on this. And I can't put it there, but I can put it here. A constructor declared in the type of the parameters must have this constructor initialized. No, I don't want to make source nullable because I can just use none to indicate that it didn't come from anywhere. Yes. Yes. Yep. Okay. I am truthy could not be found. Well, we'll fix that in a second. So operator not becomes, yeah. So if this is a value v goes to v dot so this now needs to flip. This needs to return a value, which is the logical negation of. I don't need to do. I just have no idea what to call it. What's the technical term? So an and is a intersection, an or is a union. Not is a Do mathematics and logic use the same word? Yeah, I think that's the problem, is that turning 1 into -1. So inverse to me always makes me think of matrices. Yeah. Negative, disjunction, opposite. Logical not is called negation. Negation, disambiguation. Negation is the operation in computing that maps true to false and false to true. Negation, the operation in mathematics that maps positive numbers to negative numbers, and vice versa. Yay! Yeah, so complement in a set theory is if you got a bunch of things inside a set A, the complement of A is all the things which are not A. So let's call them so flip, bit flip, change sign, flip sign. Yes, hello still. Well, it's not an age-old discussion about naming things. What we've got is two separate operations which are on the same Wikipedia page. Yeah. The one currently called negate should be called inverse. No? Flip sign minusify yeah. I'm going to call that one invert. And I'm going to call this one negate. And that is what it will be. And that there is on all the. This is fun now, because everything that gets as far as eval here has to be yes. And that doesn't even need to be evaluable. No, hang on. We do still need to evaluate the expression. Yeah. So if it's a logical not, then I mean, this is where you start having all the dumb ideas. Like, well, what if we put a minus sign before a string? What do you think that would do? Like, would it reverse the string? Uppercase to lowercase? What, you know? So if that is an operator and not, then what we need to do is to eval u.expression and return the negation of that, which means that needs to be on value. And that will return a... So if this is truthy, then it'll return a... Does it return a new false? Kind of seems like making up new instances of false and true every time you flip something is a pretty heavyweight way of doing this. Why not create a common Boolean type for false and true? Yeah. Yeah, I think that is a very good idea. Let's do that. So there's that. We'll delete. True can go. Back into the peg file. So now wherever I had my literal falses and trues in here, okay, and now I can actually put a... You see, it's this whole thing about tracking the source, wanting to be able to trace that through the way the code works, because I can put a public static const false equals new Boolean false source dot none. There. If you know, you know. Try valued booleans, true, false, or file not found. All right. Thank you. I can take that out. Look at this. What I'm going to do. So I'm going to have Boolean value, so anything, and public static Boolean not value. And do that, which means the interpreter now does that, which means that can pull that in, which means that can go back to being called negate, which is kind of what I wanted to do in the first place. Okay, that's cool. I like that. Right. So eval expression. If it's a value, we get the value. If it's a lookup, we look it up in the environment. If it's a binary, we resolve it. That gives us a value. If it's a variable, we get it out of the environment. That should, yeah, that's guaranteed never to return null because it'll return mysterious if it doesn't exist. What's that blithering about? That wants to generate a bunch of type patterns for other operators, which we don't mind. So the difference between a variable and a lookup is a definitely a yeah. I don't know. I can't remember. Let's have a look. Variables can occur in assignments, and lookups can't. And I think that the evaluator there, the interpreter, has got the wrong thing. Yeah. Yes, the umlauts in variable names is very much a thing that yeah, so that's fine. So let's okay, I'm gonna come back to why those things are different. I'm gonna move binary up. There we go. That'll when I come back later, I'll be like, oh yeah, I was confused here, and that way I can be like, well, at least the confusion is not novel. I was also confused earlier, and that will be good. So if we have anything else in there, then we throw a new not implemented exception, which is op. Cannot apply up to value. So that should blow up if we try and do like minus a string or something along those lines. All right. Where are we got to? We got to, okay, the resolve method on binary is fine. Good. Right. Okay. So I just need to plug all of these in now. So let's go down to here, and so do you need to add $$ to that string on line 52? Yes, I do. Thank you very much. And that's now gonna... Yeah. Yep, got it. Thank you. Okay, so all of these things in here, these are going to return value, and this is where we get into the fun, sort of the interesting bit, because these cannot be null now. Which, okay, yes, I like this. I like this a lot. So value left, value right can't be null, so that's never going to happen. That's never going to happen. That's never going to happen. And I mean, they could be Rockstar nulls, because we do have null. That's a thing we've got. So number A goes to I wonder if I can move this stuff into the value class itself. I mean, at this point, either I pull out the value here, or I pass it into something like number.less than. But if I'm passing it into number.less than, then it probably makes sense to value.right. So, okay, so let me just, I'm going to try this idea on for a moment. What if I do a thing that is on here? So this has public bool. I think it's more than, yeah. I've always hated the fact that greater than and less than in English are different lengths. I'm very picky about stuff like that. So we have public bool value more than v if and so this we can do this and that. Switch. Yeah. More than, less than, same than. More than, less than, equals to. Or equal to with two O's, just to wind up the grammar people. What's that going to do? Yeah, that did nothing. This, that, switch. So if this is a number... a number b, then we want to return a dot value is less than. Is value exposed in there? Yes, it is. So is more than b dot value if boolean a. You could write the method names in Portuguese, and that would solve the length problem. Boolean a, boolean b. And so in Rockstar, true is greater than false. So this is only true if A and truthy and not B dot truthy. In any other scenario, yeah. Oh, that's nice. So Giovanni, I noticed that Meoke, Mesmoke, your YouTube name is Giovanni Meoke Kaka, which means Giovanni is more than Kaka. Yeah, language is fun. Right. Switch that and that and that and that and that, and then we just get into this whole weird thing where in any other scenario so I'm going to need to implement my own toString, which is going to be a problem because Rockstar, because .NET defines toString already. So let's just have a new throw new not implemented exception honk, because honestly at this point I've got to wire in so many little pieces before like the arch will hold itself up enough to run some tests and see where things blow up. So we've got more than value that equals this, that, switch. All right, but then that means that the interpreter, the binary resolver here, this comes out completely. That can come out completely. That can come out completely. I think those can come out completely. So we've got... Thank you. I quite enjoy... I'm very, very bad at learning vocabulary in other languages, but I quite enjoy learning how to... like to read it and pronounce it, even though I have no idea what it is I'm pronouncing. Okay, since yet does, you'll still need to convert it to values. Except I won't need to convert it to values because eval here will return a value. It has to, because eval is the thing that says you don't stop digging until you found a value or something has exploded. And so I'm gonna... so this is a binary with a left-hand side and a right-hand side. So this is now gonna say, I'm gonna call those L value and R value. And then this is gonna be, so operator.and is gonna return L value.and R value. And this is the point where I wonder if I can push this like which bit of the language is responsible for deciding whether something is equal to something else. But you know what, let's... So one of those, one of those, one of those, one of those, one of those. And it doesn't want to let me put those on different lines. All right. All right. And I decided that was going to be called more than. I mean, there's a case here that I should just sort of push some of this through to I have something like a dictionary that I give it the operator and it tells me which function to apply. That might actually be a cleaner syntax for doing this. Something like this. So private static dictionary of operator and so the more than equal. Yeah, it's easy to refactor stuff later if we don't like the names. Changing names is the easiest thing in the world to do afterwards if you can remember what they mean. So this is an action which takes a value, 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 So strict equality in Rockstar is going to be based on the actually or totally keywords. So you can say if x is y, true or false, and it'll use like a stringy based comparison. If you say x is totally y, then that'll give you an identity, like a, the triple identity, triple equality comparison. Public static dictionary operator action value value value. Ops equals new. Now this is a bit where I just like I'm operator and this thing is gonna take a B. Is that gonna work? Cannot assign lambda to and that won't work because it needs to be an action of that. So how do I assign an expression to an action? Is that really going to be shorter or more readable though? No. Probably not. Action is void. Yes. So just to see what that would have looked like if I'd not decided to not do it. Chromo Sundrift has just typed exclamation mark project, which makes me think that that's probably some kind of Twitch macro that I do not have remotely set up, because Twitch doesn't have a manual, and I just kind of throw stuff at it and see what happens. I should probably do that, right? Let's see what that does. Let's take this as an opportunity. Project on Twitch. It's a common bot command. I don't think I have any bots. Should I have bots? Who wants to tell me how to get bots? I mean, it sounds like something the cool people probably have, but yes, func value value value. So in .NET Action, when I have a little more time, I'll play around with setting up some bots on the Twitch stream. What we could do is we could have a no, I don't want to be another dev streamer who spends their whole time on Twitch making Twitch tools about Twitch. So there's this thing that happens with like stand-up comedy where when somebody does like their first stand-up comedy tour, is really funny because they're talking about stuff that everyone can relate to, and then they get really successful, and then they sell out, like, they make loads of money and everything, and then like 5 years later they're trying to do stand-up comedy about what it's like in the first class lounge at JFK Airport and like what their limo driver said, and you're like, no, that's that's become a circle jerk. It's not relatable anymore. It is a rite of passage for coding streamers to create Twitch tools and bots. Yeah, no. But I will mess around with it when I have a bit of time. Right. So yeah, we could create a public static, it doesn't need to be private static dictionary of operator to a func of value value value. Ops equals new. And in this thing, I can say operator.and, and this thing is gonna take, yeah, AB goes to A.and B. Now, why is that complaining? Because it needs to be in here. So that can be a target type new. That's cool. But yeah, so you see this one here, this now is just gonna L value, R value, and then we can return ops. Op, L value, R value. Which means that can become an eval. Which means that can become one of those. Which means that comes out. Which means that comes out. Which means that, yes. No, I do like this. I like this more. So what do we got now? We've got a, and that can probably be read-only. Yep, that's cool. And let's break that onto 2 lines. So now we've just got this entire chunk here. Cut that, chop that, throw that in, and there. Oh, hang on. Yes, I will set up macros and bots and auto responses and stuff. Is that duplicated? Why is it complaining about that? Cannot, because it needs to be a yeah, these need to return values. This is where it gets really kind of, yeah. So if we compare a Rockstar number and a Rockstar number, we need to get back a Rockstar Boolean telling you what happened to it. Yeah, which is fine. Do I create new ones or do I use a factory method here? Or is there a... you don't have to be a Rockstar developer. Nobody has to be a Rockstar developer. I did introduce, well, pseudo constants, static values for true and false. So number A, number B, A value, B value. What I'm wondering is if I can put in an implicit conversion. And what I really need to do here is kind of like if a.value is greater than that, then boolean.true, otherwise boolean.false. But that strikes me as a little bit kind of that just looks grim. So I can probably do an implicit overload here. So how do you do C# implicit operator type conversion? No, I can't. Can I do that? Yes. I think I can do this. So there's that. And I can, in Boolean, in Rockstar.values, I got false, I got true, I got not, but I can do a Boolean bool b goes to new Now the question is, will this now let me do that? Can I implicitly convert type Rockstar values.boolean to bool? Yes, there we go. Does that need to be parenthesized? Yes, it does. Okay. Can you return the result of, can you cast the result of a switch expression? Yeah, that's exactly what I was just thinking. So Chromo Sundrift, to seriously answer your question, we are using C# and .NET to build a interpreter for the Rockstar esoteric programming language, where all of the language syntax is based on heavy metal and rock music song lyrics. And you can, if you want to check it out, it's at codewithrockstar.com. And we are very much in the fascinating swamp. Can I flip that? Yeah, okay, that's fine. All right, is this compiling now? That's the thing. Can we get this to a point where it actually builds? And so that returns ops op eval null hs edge. So yeah, that's so what I'm wondering, because this is not going to blow up if I try to, I mean, I shouldn't ever have an operator which isn't supported by the language. That's just not a thing that should happen, but yeah. I rip that lot out, and now we go back into value.cs. So we've got and value is gonna be, now at this point, this is just it's a Boolean, isn't it? So that'll be called that. Yeah. That'll be that. This is where it gets interesting. So this we need to throw in another switch. Is it Boolean? What is 3 and 7? 3 and 7 is true. Well, actually, no. 3 and... Oh, yeah. Short-circuiting. Yeah. Yes. 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 I'm very, very glad you picked that up. Yeah. So what we got here, if we say 3 and 7, it'll say is 3 truthy? Yes, so it'll return 3. And if we say 0 and 7, it'll go, is 0 truthy? No, it's not. Return the other bit. And yeah, so the logical... Yeah. That's it. That's short circuit arithmetic plugged in. Right, what is plus going to do? Right. So, yeah, that's the whole point, is if we say value and, if you have a truthy thing and you say this dot and anything, or this dot or anything, it's going to return true without even evaluating the other side of it. Because... So two demigods, 21 and 5, binary and, will return 5, but 5 is truthy. So the result of the and statement will be true. And I think because of the... Yeah, okay, so short circuit evaluation is something I'm going to need to revisit. I don't think this will do short circuiting, but I think it's not going to be that difficult to plug it in later. All right, so plus we need to implement a switch on this, that switch. Number A, number B becomes new number A dot value plus B dot value. And string concatenation here is string A and anything B will become A dot value plus that dot. Now this is where the two-stringness comes in, because two-string yeah. Why shouldn't I use the same operator for addition and string concatenation? I mean, the fact that you are worried about me using an operator, the actual keyword that you've got is either plus or with. So we're talking about a line of Rockstar that says, you know, the actual code that we're dealing with here is going to be like x is 5, y is 7, the total is x with y. Yeah. Now there's a lot of the whole point, the North Star of Rockstar, the principle that informs any decision about language syntax is, can you imagine somebody singing this and it not sounding weird? It's sounding like just ordinary song lyrics. And so a lot of the syntax and keywords and operators are working backwards from actual rock and roll lyrics to try to come up with stuff that is singable. All right, so we got A dot plus B. A dot minus B is missing. So there's value.cs. So value.toString, this dot switch is going to need a... so what do we got? Number n goes to n dot value dot toString G29. But that needs to be stringified. So let's put a So we got a number, we toString the decimal inside it with a G29 format specifier, because that's the one that looks sensible. If we have a Boolean, then that is going to return a new string which is based on b.value, then true, otherwise false. Can I overload b to give me truthiness? I think I probably can. Public static is true. How did we do this? We did this the other night. Let me dig up the git kraken thing and look at the code we've scrubbed. We were overloading. Yes. Public static bool operator true. Boolean b goes to b dot truthy. And that requires false to be defined. And I think by adding those, I should be able... No, but can I put a public static explicit operator boolean b? Yeah. All right. Giovanni has just suggested that a variable name starting with the should be constants. Yeah. I mean, one of the nice idiomatic patterns in Rockstar is being able to throw things into the fire to build up elements in an array, and then cast out the fire, and that'll turn the array into a string, and then you can get string literals without actually having to put them directly into your source code. So boolean b is that, number is that, a string's toString, s just returns itself. What else have we got? We got numbers, we got booleans, we got strings, we got null. These string thingies should probably be like constant interny type things, shouldn't they? Or at least staticified. Public. Yeah. Yeah. Ah. Yes. Number, boolean, string, null, and what else did we have? Boolean is there, and mysterious. uh, but of course string concatenation doesn't work. So this will return a new string, which contents of which will be this dot value plus that dot all right. Yeah, we've got them all. Why are you complaining? All right. Plus. See you, Sunset. Take it easy. Plus on anything else, I mean, the temptation to do JavaScripty things, like add true plus true, and true is 1 and whatever, is not small. But take it easy, Jake. Yeah, drop by. So we're podcasting 4 o'clock UK time tomorrow. Me and Mark Rendell do a live show every week where we just talk about interesting stuff that's happening in the world of tech. So swing by. It'd be cool to see you on there. Let's throw a new not implemented exception. That's cool. So now I've kind of got a pattern I can copy for a bunch of things. So actually that won't be quite that straightforward, but that new number will be that minus that, and that doesn't work, and that throws a new not implemented exception. And yep. 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 And true plus true is 2 is silly. If anything, true plus 2 should be true. Well, it depends on how you swing it. Folks, I just realized the time. I got stuff to do in the morning. I said I was going to stream till midnight, and I am going to wrap it up. But we'll be back. I'll be doing some more probably tomorrow evening. I'll be on for another couple of hours. So thank you for swinging by, folks. Let me see if anyone is on who might appreciate a bit of a raid. Let's take a little look. Oh, no, that is a giant copy of the Chrome network tools. That is not what we want. There we go. Who's around? Nope, none of my people is on. All right. Take it easy, folks. You have fun. Chill out. Look after each other. And I'll see you next time.